Recording, yes. All right, let's make sure that you have everything that you need for today. Today, I'm working on this mannequin here, the round one. But you guys are working on the one that came in your kit, the flat face mannequin, okay? Make sure you have placed your name on that. You do need your notes. We will be doing lash enhancement notes today. You need the little puff to blow the air, okay? You need the lash glue. This one is for the lash tabs, but we'll work with it. You have your green applicator that you're going to dip into the glue for application of the glue. You have a spoolie wand should you need it. You have your flat tweezers. You have your curved scissors. You have a little baggie that I put on your table. And the little baggie is so that you can store your lashes in because they will come in handy. Okay, so put your lashes in the baggie. All right, and you've got something to write with, and of course your notes. So let's get started. First thing that we're going to do is that we are going to start with our theory notes. Now we probably will have about a good 5 minutes left over today because the theory is going to go by pretty quickly. And the application, we're just doing half an eye or one eye, so it's not a lot. We're doing top and bottom. But let's get started. So we're going to we're doing lash enhancements today. Okay, with our lash enhancements, let's go ahead and draw out our nose. And then, of course, you know, we have our eyebrow. And our eyelid is closed. And you have your natural lashes. All right. We want to keep in mind the two spots where there is no glue. No glue, no lashes, don't touch that spot. Remember that the false lash should be shorter than the natural lash. Okay, always. Now, with our lash enhancement, yesterday we did a strip lash, the whole eye. Sometimes you have a client, when I worked at the salon, I had clients that they were older, and you know, like lashes are kind of like top coat to nails, right? If you don't have that shiny coat, it kind of doesn't finish your design, your look, right? Something's missing. Lashes are the same thing. Lashes are the cherry on the cake. They're the top coat on the nails, right? So it really enhances your makeup, it really makes it pop, and it really brings out the client's eyes, except if it's the wrong length, wrong volume, wrong color for the client. Sometimes the ladies would come in and they'd be, you know, I'd do their makeup, and then without asking, I'd put lashes on because this is what I would do. Then they'd look in the mirror and they're like, whoa, no, it's too much. I don't like it. I don't want to stand at the altar and he's like, who's that? And I don't want to feel like a fake. And I'm like, a fake? They're fake what? Okay, I guess. But because they typically don't wear makeup, so then their eyes don't look crazy big, but the lashes make them look that way. So one, always have that consultation with your client, right? Two, maybe a whole strip lash is not for your client. Maybe you need just an enhancement, just something to make the corners pop. And sometimes they just don't want it, and then just mascara is all you're going to get, and that's okay. No problem. Saves you time, right? You just don't make the extra money on that. So when you're doing your lash enhancement, you want to, I'm going to take this one. Where's my other one? Here it is. You have a whole strip lash, right? Well, from your strip lash, you actually cut it in half. And so now you have two strips instead of one. So this was my pair. I cut it down the middle, and now I have two. My lash enhancement is this. half of it. Okay? Where do you put it? You're going to find the end to the center point or midpoint of the eye. So, client sitting up, chin up, shoulders back, feet flat on the ground, knees squared, eyes straight, middle of the pupil, that's the center point. So you're going to find that center point. And then staying away from the outer corner of the eye, right, where there's no glue, you're then going to come, and that is going to be your end. The center point and the midpoint. So don't forget. It's called different things. Okay? Center point and midpoint. Same thing. Okay? Okay. My lash goes here. This is where it goes. It's where you're going to rock it. So don't forget. You go from the corner and you rock it down to the middle. Instead of going all the way to the nose, you're going to stop at the middle. But the application from yesterday is the same from today. Same. We're going to go over the steps in just a little bit. But this is where it's going to go. Okay? In that middle of that point. Now, in red, I'm going to draw out where my false lash is going to be. This little clump here, this little cluster, this little strip. I'm going to go from my outer edge to my center point. That is the only place this is going to go. Now, what looks weird about that? It's empty, right? It's like, nothing here, but then, there we go, right? You don't want your client to look like that, so there's two things to do. One, very important, we're going to talk about in a little bit. On the natural lash, you're going to add mascara because mascara makes your lashes stand out. Have you ever not worn mascara and your eyeballs look naked, right? Like there's nothing there, you look dead, right? Put mascara on, it gives you a little lift and life and volume. So put a little mascara here through the whole thing. When you put the false, it'll blend. But if you don't cut it, the client looks up, there's a big gap right here and the big step in the middle, or they look down, there's a big gap right here on the inside and a big step in that middle point. So you have to cut it. You've got to, I'm going to use this one. You're going to cut, you're going to blend from the natural lash length to the false lash length, right? You've got to cut right here. Okay, we're going to talk about scissors in just a quick second. You got to cut it. And the reason why you got to cut it is you got to blend it so that it goes from short to medium to long. It can't just go from short to long. Then it's crazy. Okay? So definitely blend. Your center point, your midpoint, your cutting point, your cut point is there. Literally in the middle. Where the center point of the eye is, that's where you cut because that's where you're blending. There is no need for you to cut over here because there's no lash there. And if you cut over here, then you're just wasting your eye. You use the wrong length lash, just use a smaller lash, right? So this is where you blend. Talk about cutting in just a quick second. All right, let's talk about our scissors. Now, kitchen scissors belong in the kitchen and they cut kitchen stuff. Garage scissors for garage. Lawn mowing scissors for lawn mowing. Art scissors for art scissors. Hair scissors for hair. Nail for nail. Lash for lash. Don't mix your scissors where they're not supposed to go. Right? Especially if they're not clean. You should clean your tools after each use, but especially if they're not clean. Okay, one, because of the sharpness or dullness of the scissor, you're cutting the eye area. So you got to be very careful. But two, and most mainly, because there needs to be just for that service. Okay, cleanliness as well. So the straight straight blade scissor, we talked about yesterday, that is a no-go. Who said no about that? Because just like I have this green line right here, when I cut this like this with a straight blade, my client looks up or my client looks down, there's a sharp straight line. And if you close your eyes, put your fingers over your eyeballs, look straight, and then turn to the right and then turn to the left. Do you feel your eyeball move? Isn't that like a weird feeling? Okay? You're like, it's not even smooth, it kind of has a little bump a little bit. Okay, well, when you close your eyes and you do that and you have that straight edge, there's this line that just goes like this, back and forth, and you're gonna see that big chunk that you just chopped off. So don't use straight. You want, and they're obviously not this curved, right? But you want a curved scissor. It always has to be curved because you're working on a curved line, right? You need to make it blend. Now in hair cutting, there's like when you diagram, there's certain ways to do things. For brows or for lashes, we're doing it this way. You're gonna point cut, and when we point cut, you're cutting with the tip of the scissor into a point, cut, and a point, point cut. We're gonna use this symbol right here, and you want to point cut. When you point cut, at the cut point, you are going to take the scissors and you literally are going to come in and you are going to cut just the corner tip to blend in. Like literally just the tip. You don't want to cut her natural lash on either side. So you got to be careful. You got to put your pinky down instead. You got to hold your hand and you're going to open and close and you're going to point. Feet firmly on the ground, your knees are bent, one foot in front of the other, your back is slightly bent, and you're forward and you're ready to pull back should someone bump into you, and you're like this on a client. Okay, super important. You can't replace eyeballs. Okay, your career will be done at that point if someone's using you for it. So you gotta be very careful. Safety is always important. So when you're point cutting, be very careful and use the small scissors. Talked about the big scissor yesterday. After you're done point cutting, okay, with that curved line, that curved blade, they're going to blend so nicely. And then you're not going to be able to tell that where the real lashes are and where the false lashes end or start. Okay? The last thing I want the second thing to make them blend, the no lash area with the lash area, is mascara. So mascara is super important, right? You have your spoolie, your wand. So if you were to put mascara on the client's natural lash first, there's a way to do so. I'm going to show you the demo first. I'm going to take a mannequin. I've been touching the glue of this, so it's not very sticky. That's fine. You have your spoolie. A lot of people, I'll just scratch my nose. A lot of people just take the mascara wand, they insert it into the tube, and they pull it out, and then they go, and they're done. Right? That's not how you do it professionally. Take the spoolie, put it into the wand inside, and as you're pumping it in and out to get product from the tip to the end, you are rolling it because you want to grasp the product. You're loading your brush just like you're loading with painting, right? You're sweeping. You're going back and forth and you're rotating it. A lot of people will take it out of the tube and they don't clean this tip here, okay? You got to clean it. Because if you got a big old chunk of mascara here and you go here and you bump into the client or they gently like turn to the side, you got a big old chunk of mascara on the inner corner of the eye or top or bottom or wherever, okay? So you got to clean that bit. The other thing, okay, people just tap. When you tap just like this, and they don't even do the top a lot of times, they just tap, it's kind of like taking gel and doing this. and expecting your hair to all have gel on it, right? It doesn't work that way. You got to be like, right? To get gel through the hair. Does that make sense? So after you load your spoolie, you're going to take it. You're going to do 2 motions. Left, put your phone away. You're going to do 2 motions. You're going to zigzag from the base past the tip, and then you're going to roll at the same time. So roll and zigzag, okay? So you're going to come in at the base. As you're rolling, you're going to zigzag side to side to the very tip of the lashes and continue, okay? Go in, you're going to zigzag, and you're going to roll. Don't stop at the very tip. A lot of people stop at the tip. What happens is when you stop at the tip, you're depositing pigment at the very tip end, and you get chunky pieces on the tip. And then you're like, man, it looks so clumpy. Well, because you got to keep going until you're like fully away from the lashes. Okay? So, enter at the base. You're going to roll and you're going to zigzag. When you zigzag, the hair's doing this, right? And the hair's round, so the hair's rolling sideways as it's doing this motion. So you're not, if you just come in this way, and maybe even this way, you're only coating the top and the bottom of the hair. What about the sides? So if you're rolling, the hairs are doing this way, and you're zigzagging, they're rolling, you're covering the entire strand. And so that is a proper way to apply mascara and to get the voluminous, luscious lashes with just mascara. So, in order for this piece here not to look so naked, you got to put mascara on first. Because some of, like, watch this. Wow, that's a lash, right? Imagine cutting this in half and putting it on you. That's a lot, right? But some people might want that. Well, how, and they expect you to make it look natural, right? But they're paying, that's what they're paying you for, so how are you going to fix it? So you got to put mascara on and got to do it correctly so you have good voluminous, voluptuous lash, natural lashes, and then put your lash on top. This may be a little bit exaggerated, but you get my point. So when you do your mascara, you have to zigzag, you have to roll, and you have to go from base to the end. Okay? And unfortunately, as life would have it, sometimes, you know, things happen. And you might get an oops. And the oops is when you have mascara on this tip end that you didn't wipe off. Or you're putting mascara on, your client's like, you know, doing this, and she's going back and back in the chair, and you're trying to like go forward, and your wand meets her skin. Or you sneeze, or you blink your eyes, and you got like these little tick marks of mascara, like lash glue and like latex. Wait for it to dry. Let the mascara dry fully, and then pick it off or scratch it off. It'll come off. If it's wet, it's on the skin, and you go in and you take your finger and you smear it, or a Q-tip and you smear it, it's going to stain the skin. And then you got to get a wipe, and then you did the 10 layers of makeup already, and she's running late, and the mother-in-law is standing behind over your shoulder, and then you're running behind. You got to start all over, okay? So let the mascara dry if it ever gets on the skin, and then pick it off, okay? So with the goops, you're going to let it dry, and then scratch off. I promise you, that comes in handy so many times. Let it dry and then scratch it off. Okay? All right. Questions on your notes? Let's put that to the side. Let's go ahead and take our mannequin. You're going to put, and I guess I can do it on this face, it's fine. You're going to take one of the lashes, and you're going to place the lash down. I don't use glue because I got to use these lashes for all the classes, so I don't use glue, but you do the glue. I'm just going to show you what you're going to do, then I'm going to let you go to give you lashes if you don't have them. You're going to put one lash down. Then on that, from that same lash, right? This is the other lash, right? You're going to cut it in the center point. Cut it down the middle. Now you have 2, right? You're going to put glue on this, and then you're going to rock it on the edge as if you're adding the extension, or I'm sorry, the enhancement. Do you see how it's light here and dark here? You're probably not going to go in to cut anything because it's the same strip. There's no length difference. But definitely want to make sure that you have that difference in the tone. Okay? Questions? I'm going to let you get started on this, and then we're going to come by. We're going to turn this over this way. You're going to take your other end, and then you're going to cut. Now my scissors, these aren't my very nice dull scissors, but you're going to cut a tip off. And then as you're cutting a tip off, you are then going to place the actual little piece you cut to create an additional enhancement, but on the bottom lashes, like so. Right? And if your client wants it long, then they can have them long. And if they want them short, they can have them short. It all just depends. Oh, I lost it. It all just depends on how your client wants it. Right? Sometimes it's very, very evident, very obvious, very out there, and sometimes it's very subtle. Okay? So these would just be pieces that you cut off of your actual strip lash, and that's the second piece that you have left over. Okay? Questions on your enhancements. Your enhancements on the top and on the bottom. This is what they look like when they sell them. You made it, you're going to make it today, but this is what they look like when they sell them. Okay? It says human hair. It's not human hair because of the shine, synthetic. But it's from the dollar store, you know. Questions? They also sell, these are the ones they sell for the underneath. I've touched it all day, so I don't have any more stick left. You can use the whole thing of the sort, or you can cut the in between and you have little pieces to put underneath the eye. Questions?